Hi and welcome to Vesta. This video shows you how to use the admin account to configure the entire hotel to start using the system. To access Vesta, you need to be logged in into a browser, preferably Google Chrome or Mozilla Firefox. We recommend you use the latest version of these browsers to enable a very seamless experience. Once you open the browser, enter the URL shown above. You can always bookmark or save this URL so that you can quickly access the Vesta OMS when you open the browser. Next, enter your admin credentials and sign in to the system. Once you sign in, you'll be taken to the request page by default. Since this account is brand new and there are no users configured in the system, there are no requests visible as of now. To begin configuring your hotel, please click on the Data Manager section as shown on the left side of the table. The Data Manager is available only for the admin of the hotel. The Data Manager allows the admin to configure users for web, users for mobile, departments, which are also called as desks in Vesta, and each individual item that is allocated to each individual department in the system. So let's click on the Data Manager and find out. On clicking on the Data Manager, I first select the hotel that I need to configure. By default, when you sign up with Vesta, your hotel will populate on this list. Next, you can see the web logins in the system. As of now, you can see that there's only an admin login that's present in the system and nobody else is yet configured. The same case is present for the mobile login staff, where you have no users as of now. But to begin, let's first understand what are the requirements in terms of departments for the hotel. Departments are also called desks in Vesta. By default, Vesta provides you the list of departments that will be configured for your hotel. Of course, you can always add a new department or desk if you so wish. Let's begin by understanding what departments are already configured in the system. By clicking on the drop down, I can view front office, housekeeping, engineering, all the way down to security. In order for me to view what items are present under each department, I'll select the department from the desks, say front office. I can now see a list of all the items that are allocated to the front office department. This means that whenever one of these requests are created in the system, they will be automatically allocated to the front office. In order for me to edit, add or change items, I can do this via the table provided here. For example, I have to edit the request that says bills to be ready. I'll simply click on the edit icon, add a descriptions, or change the name of the request itself. Then I can define an escalation time for this request, say 5 minutes and 5 minutes if it's parked, and save. On defining escalations, this means that when a request which is called bills to be ready is created in the system and it is not actioned in 5 minutes, it will escalate to the next level in the system. Escalations will be explained in a separate video for the training. Now, let's add a new item into the system. See, for front office, I need to add a request that says keys issue. I add a description. This is optional. An escalation time in minutes, and click on save. Done. Now a new request called keys issue is created in the system, which will be allocated to front office whenever someone creates this issue in the system. Please note that escalation times will be again explained in a separate escalation video pertaining to the training. Now let's check other departments in the system. You can see housekeeping requests allocated to housekeeping over here. and food and beverage items located over here. But there's a problem. I see a clearance request being allocated to the food and beverage department, which should ideally be allocated to the in-room dining department. From this interface, I can change the department that this request will now go to. I click on Edit and I select the right department that this request has to be allocated to and click on Save. The request is now removed from the F&B section and sent to the IRD section in the system. Once you're satisfied with all the desks and all the items allocated to each desk in the system, you can now move to creating your own desk in Vesta. For example, let's say we have to create a new desk called Store. You simply click on the Add Desk button, type the desk name, and click on Add a Desk. You can see that a new desk has been created in the system, but the desk will not populate in the list unless you refresh the page. So simply click on Refresh, select your hotel, and you'll be able to view the new desk in the system. Similar to creating items for all the other desks, you can add a new item allocated to Store. And all other columns for this table can also be configured for the same request item. Once all the desks and all the items are configured, we can now move to adding users in the system. Let's start with adding a web user. A web user is any individual in the hotel who will have access to Vesta from the desktop or the laptop. To add a new web user, go to the web login. You can currently see that there's only an admin account which is functional for this hotel. To add a new web user, click on the Add Web User Account and enter the details. And create a new user. You can see that a user has been populated in this table now. But also you can view that there is no department or there are no notifications associated with this user currently. In order to give the user rights to view, say, the front office department, click on the Edit button over here. Clicking on Front Office for the departments column enables John to view all the requests which are allocated to front office. If the remaining icons are kept unclicked, that means John cannot view housekeeping, engineering, etc. departments in the system. Let's say we want to enable John to view front office, engineering, and in-room dining for the system. And for notifications, we want John only to get notifications pertaining to front office since he works on the front office level. I'll now click on Save. Now a new user with access rights in the system has been created. In order to log in, John has to be shared his username and a password that has been set from the admin end. As similar to the login for the admin, John can now log into the system using his own credentials. Now let's say John has moved from the front office and joined housekeeping. You can always come back to the admin portal and edit John's access rights. So now you don't want John to view front office, but you want him to view housekeeping, engineering, and in-room dining. Similarly, for notifications, you can edit to housekeeping only and click on Save. Now John on his desktop will be able to view these three departments and get notifications only for housekeeping. Now once you've added all the web logins in the system as you require, it's time to add mobile logins. Go to the mobile login section. It's important to understand that a user first needs to have the Vesta mobile app installed on his or her phone and has to have signed in the Vesta mobile application before you can add the user in the system. If the users cannot find the Vesta mobile app, you can simply share the URL with the users and they can download this on their phones. Enter the email ID of the user that they have used to sign into the system. You can now see that the user is being found. Once you associate the user populates into your hotel database and the status is shown as active. What this means is that this user can now see all the requests allocated to your hotel. Similar to the web logins, I will now configure access rights for this user in the system. Let's say he works in the IT department. Done. You can now add more mobile users in the system and you're ready to go.